Now for our feature story of the day. PlanB, creator of the Bitcoin stock-to-flow model, he says that 200,000 Bitcoin is very underwhelming, and in fact that this Bitcoin cycle top will be higher than 500,000 per coin in 2025, which is right around the corner. So let's break this baby down. If you're just joining the stream, pump the likes to pump the stream. I greatly appreciate it. The closely followed quant analyst PlanB believes that Bitcoin can print more than 4x gains this market cycle. In a new strategy session, the on-chain analyst tells his YouTube subs it would be a letdown if Bitcoin ended the current bull market with a 200,000 price peak. Now, JV's personal prediction, my bear scenario is 222,000, and my bull scenario for the cycle peak, 750,000. So it seems to be right in alignment with what he is sharing here. PlanB says the stock-to-flow model, which compares the amount of a commodity in circulation divided by the amount produced every year, suggests that Bitcoin will see an over 660% rally from the current prices before the market cycle ends. Now run the math from 65,000. If we times that by 660%, that ultimately gives us a $500,000 Bitcoin price, quoting the analyst here. So the next top will not be in this year, 2024, but in the next year, 2025. That top, some people talk about $200,000 as the next top. You can see on this chart, which you can see on your screen, that would be very underwhelming. In fact, from a stock to flow perspective, we need that top that is much higher than that average, 500,000. So let's say 600,000 or 700,000 or maybe $1 million per Bitcoin. So the top will be higher than 500,000 in 2025. Also, the stock to flow officially, I think it was on March 1st, printed the first red dot for the cycle, which signifies we are officially in a bull market. Now, PlanB warns that Bitcoin's ascent will likely have bumps along the way, right? He says he expects Bitcoin to witness several corrections in the coming months en route to hitting his price target. Quoting him again, there will be volatility too. That's very important. It won't be straight up and no dips. There will be multiple minus 20 or 30% dips. That is very normal. Personally, and this is not financial advice, of course, I will do nothing, let's say, for the next 12 months. And I will reassess when the market phase switches from bull market to distribution. So there you have it. And to watch this video analysis he recently did, check the show notes below the video in the description and let me know your thoughts. Can you potentially see Bitcoin rising to $500,000 as high as $1 million per coin for this cycle? And do you agree with that sentiment that we hit the cycle peak in 2025 versus this year in 2024? We've had 3 previous halvings, 2012, 2016 and 2020. And something interesting, a pattern I recognize, it was always after the halving, we broke the previous all-time high. For the first time in Bitcoin history for this cycle, we broke the previous all-time high pre-halving, right? We surpassed 69,000, which we hit back November 10th of 2021. We, a few weeks ago, tapped 73,800, practically 74,000 range. So this cycle could be completely different. Also, another massively different bullish catalyst this cycle is the institutional FOMO, which did not exist previous cycle because it was this year. We just got the green light January 11th for the 11 ETFs, including BlackRock, Fidelity, ARC21, etc. Now, BlackRock already has over 250,000 Bitcoin, which they have collectively received, which is being held by Coinbase, who is their custodian. And I believe Coinbase is also the custodian for GBTC. Now, GBTC used to be the largest Bitcoin hodler in the world with over 600,000 biddies. Now they're like down to like the 200,000 to 300,000 range, meaning they're probably still amongst the highest, largest holder in the world. But now you got BlackRock looking to dethrone them. And you also have MicroStrategy right around the corner, over 212,000 Bitcoin, wherever they're at now, currently holding roughly 1% of the Bitcoin circulating supply. So we have this, what we call game theory, playing out in real time. Now we have other ETFs from other nations, which are going to be launched soon as well, including out of Hong Kong, which will be the first Asian ETF, and that's a spot. And also we're going to have the ETFs coming out of El Salvador, which will be a different kind. It'll be, instead of the cash in, cash out, it'll be Bitcoin in, Bitcoin out, which will separate it from everything else in the market. And then we have people like Mr. 100 continuing to accumulate at least 100 Bitcoin per day. Again, they purchased like 2,500 Bitcoin in the past few days, which is mind-boggling. You know what I mean? You have a lot of billionaires. There's 2,500 known billionaires plus in the world. And I think there's the smart money, and they understand that if they don't have a position in Bitcoin, they're not going to be amongst the richest people in the world for long. Bezos, could it be Mr. 100, right? What do you think? Could it be Andrew Tate? Could it be another nation state who has been secretly acquiring Bitcoin, as Edward Snowden has shared in a recent post on X, which we covered here on the show? I mean, there's just a lot of catalysts. And then we have the supply shock, which very realistically is going to happen. As Pompliano pointed out, we had a demand shock already with this ETF demand, but supply shock to come soon. The quant analysts over at Crypto Quant are projecting within the next 12 months we'll have a legitimate supply shock where there's just no more biddies to get a hold of. There's only roughly 2 million left on the exchanges. And then we also got to consider, what about other nation state adoption, nations that haven't even went public with it yet? What about sovereign wealth funds? There's speculation out of Qatar, $500 billion sovereign wealth fund looking to convert it into Bitcoin. There's talk of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia adopting Bitcoin, places like Dubai and the UAE, Abu Dhabi. A lot of potential. So, I mean, I think it is very clear. The writing is on the wall. Bitcoin is the fastest horse in the race, will continue to be with the least risk. And we have the potential to hit these crazy targets we talk about every day, hence why I cover them every day. Some of you believe it can't happen. We'll never get to 80,000 Bitcoin. Okay, I've heard that one before. No matter where the price is at, you're going to have haters say, we can't do this. It's not possible, because some people are not visionaries. Some people just can't see the future. Some people are only living in the past, and because they could only see reality in their mind as something that has already happened. So for a lot of you guys, 73.8 is the top. It can't go any higher. It hasn't happened before, and you just can't see it going past it. I don't understand that thinking, because I consider myself a visionary. I can see Bitcoin hitting 200,000 per coin effortlessly in a bear scenario. I can see it hitting 750,000 in my bull scenario. I can see it exceeding my expectation and hitting $1 million per coin for this cycle. So I'm a visionary. I can see what hasn't been created yet. I can see into the future just by studying the past. Some people study the past, unable to see the future. I don't understand that. There's an old saying that, you know what I mean? What's that history saying? To know the future, study the past, right? Because sometimes history repeats. And if it doesn't necessarily repeat, it oftentimes rhymes. And something I have discovered, Bitcoin seems to go up roughly 200% per year, right? And modest 200% from the previous all-time high we just touched of 74,000. That's still a modest, roughly, what is that? Close to 150,000 Bitcoin price. That's a very bear scenario. What if we were to 5x? What if we were to 10x? What if Plan B is right and we do a 650% climb to $500,000 per coin by 2025, and you had the opportunity right now to buy at 66? You passed it up, just like the opportunity you had to buy a year ago at the bottom at roughly $16,000, but you passed it up. How long are you going to pass up these opportunities before you actually get all in, right? And understand that Bitcoin is the future. It is the only incorruptible money. It is the only unconfiscatable money. It's immutable. It's borderless. It has everything going for it that gold wish it had going for it. Yet, it's still only 66,000 per coin. You have the opportunity to buy Bitcoin today at a discount cheaper than it was 3 years ago when we hit the cycle peak of 69,000. To me, that's a steal. To me, the real, true, intrinsic value of Bitcoin right now is at least hundreds of thousands of dollars, just for the fact it's unconfiscatable. Ask Mr. Tate how much Bitcoin is worth to him. He'll tell you. He recently tweeted he's been purchasing Bitcoin every single week without fail since 2018 when he discovered Bitcoin. And he says he hasn't sold anything. Do you understand? I understand what that means. It means he recognizes Bitcoin as the only true asset that has a finite limited supply, that is uncorruptible, and that they can't steal from him. And I think there's a lot of other wealthy billionaires in the world who are thinking the same, who are going all in on Bitcoin. It's not just Ricardo Salinas, third richest man in Mexico, soon to be number one richest, or Kathy Wood, or Max Kaiser, or Mike Saylor, or Pompliano, whomever it is. The smart money knows what's up. At this stage in the game, everyone who understands money knows how powerful Bitcoin is. Even the haters, they must recognize it by now, right? So anyways, for what it's worth, let me know where you feel the Bitcoin price action is likely to be for this cycle peak. And do you think we hit the cycle peak this year, 2024? Or do you think it'll be in 2025? Holla.